Hello, and greetings from Shanghai. My name is Bruno Di Leo. I am the General Manager of IBM Growth Markets. This year, as IBM celebrates its centennial, I'm very pleased to address this first ever global conference of the Service Research and Innovation Institute. I would prefer to be with you in person, but my office and the Growth Markets organization I lead are based in China. Like many companies today, IBM is actively pursuing growth opportunities in emerging markets. And China is one of the most important of all, which is why we chose to base our Global Growth Markets unit here. Now, in the next few moments, I would like to cover these three topics. First, what are some of the key differences between developed and emerging markets, and what's IBM's strategy for growth? Second, what are the key focus areas for IT-enabled services in emerging markets? And third, finally, how can you at the SRII drive research and innovation to promote IT services worldwide? So let's begin with a market opportunity. The numbers you see speak for themselves. In growth markets in general, 100 million people move to cities every year. That's the equivalent of 10 New York cities. In China, between 1980 and 2010, the percentage of urban residents doubled. In the next 4 years, the combined GDP growth of these countries is estimated at $10.5 trillion, more than 60% of the world's total GDP growth. Nearly 6 billion people, 87% of the world population, live in these markets. Now, to understand how we measure market opportunity, look at the bar graphics. On the left, you see that in terms of GDP, emerging markets are growing more than twice as fast as mature markets. In the middle, you see this difference even more sharply in terms of the IT, information technology growth. And on the right is the most important measurement. It tells you that in major markets, IT penetration as a percentage of the GDP is on average equivalent to 2.5%. In the growth markets, it is less than half that amount, about 1%. This means that there is a huge opportunity to create new markets as IT becomes more integrated into the economic development and wealth creation in these countries. It will take years, even at double-digit growth rates, for these markets to reach the same level of IT penetration as major markets. This is the opportunity that IBM is pursuing. This is why we're confident that we can not only serve growing demand, but also create new markets. Here is another way to view the opportunity. In the coming years, 40% of the world's population will live in emerging market cities. China will build another 45 airports. The Middle East economies will spend up to $1 trillion on infrastructure. Indonesia will spend $155 billion on projects such as toll roads and bridges. So the market opportunity and the IT services needed to go after them are staggering. Growth markets for IBM go way beyond Brazil, Russia, India, and China. They represent more than 140 countries and multiple operating units where we have strong local management teams. In addition to our headquarters in Shanghai, we also have regional offices in Sao Paulo, Prague, Dubai, Bangalore, Beijing, Seoul, Singapore, and Sydney. This organizational structure allows us to execute day-to-day business, investments, strategy, everything very close to the marketplace, very close to our clients. What's IBM's strategy for growth markets? Our investments in growth are aimed at three areas. First is market expansion, which is all about acquiring new clients, reaching out to new enterprises in the emerging world. It's about opening new branch offices and strengthening the ones we have in Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities. The second one is IT infrastructure development, which is about capitalizing on the massive investments being done in these economies in building their infrastructure. millions of citizens are growing into the middle class. They are increasing their purchasing power. They are doing banking transactions, they are using mobile phones, they are consuming energy, taking mass transportation systems, and demanding more and more sophisticated healthcare services. The third one is about industry leadership, which is being and becoming, in the eyes of the market, the undisputed leader in some selected industries. Enterprises in the emerging world not only want advanced technology, they want the latest. And when it comes to business management, they not only want to learn the best practices from the developed world, but they are willing to create new best practices to entertain new business models. And of course, they do recognize IT as a powerful enabler to accomplish this transformation. So let me turn now to my second topic, the key focus areas for IT-enabled services in emerging markets. The services business in emerging markets is proving to be an extremely interesting and innovative marketplace. For starters, this is not about labor arbitrage for a very simple reason. There is no offshoring location for India, right? Actually, there is none. There is none for any country in the emerging economies. That's number one. Number two, it is not a uniform market. There are some countries which are extremely mature in the services economy and other countries which are really developing. But we have learned several things that are helping us to deliver new value propositions. First of all, it is all about quality of sustained value, and it is everywhere in the world. The clients in growth markets are demanding quality and sustained value. Second, it's about transformation. Most of the time we have engaged in the projects we have won are where we are supporting the growth agenda of the clients. To matter, IT services must support the growth agenda of the clients. The third lesson is about asset creation and replication. And why is this? Because most of our clients, they want to grow in the world. They want to replicate this IT infrastructure we're building for them in different countries where they grow. Finally, it's about new deals, new ways of doing business. In emerging markets, we're not entertaining only the traditional vendor-client relationship. We have very solid and deep long-term partnerships with the clients. Even in some cases, we support the growth of the client with variable pricing, volume as you go, and different innovative models. The other thing we have learned in growth markets is it is not only about large transformational projects. It is also about establishing a very powerful footprint of small services related to infrastructure build-ups. Let me give you just one example of our strategy at work. I think it's a good example because it talks about all three components of our strategy. This is a Bharti Airtel deal which IBM signed in 2010. It's about market expansion because we will open for business in 10 countries in Africa given this expansion of Bharti into Africa. It is also about IT infrastructure development. We're building 3 computing centers. We are consolidating the operations of IT of this company, 16 countries into just 3. And finally, it's about transformational services because it's about application management, desktop services, and also full-scale outsourcing. Finally, I would say it's about undisputed industry leadership. Because if you want to do business in telco in the growth markets and you need IT, IBM is your choice. Everybody knows, if you want to go to Africa and do business, call IBM. We will support you. So, let me close with a call to action for all of you. There are 4 specific actions which I would suggest are ways that Services Research and Innovation Institute can play an influential role. First, help define unique IT services and solutions for emerging markets. Increasingly, we meet clients who have made a new breakthrough, a new business model, a new disruptive force in the market. Bharti used to charge 2 cents a minute for its calls. Today it charges half that amount, just a penny a call. Tata Motors in India has a $2,200 nano car So far it isn't selling very well, but it's only a question of time before Rhodes improves and builds up its distribution network. TOTUS has completely dominated the international ERP vendors in their home market of Brazil. They sell modular enterprise software to small and medium-sized businesses, and I could go on and on. The point is that there are plenty of growth market innovators with the resources and ambitions to serve their fast-growing economies. And to serve these clients, we need unique IT services and solutions that cater to their markets. Second, foster enterprise-level collaboration to define new business models, tools, and standards. Global associations, such as you, are critical to the promotion of international standards. Enterprises today understand the value and necessity of collaborating to innovate and to listen to their customers. But tools and standards are critical to moving the entire services industry forward. Third, drive government policies and regulations at the global level. Governments should stay focused on innovation that is driven and based on open systems and standards. Freer trade, open markets, both local and international. Public policy makers should not only allow local procurement preferences, policies to take hold. And finally, most importantly, foster an IT education and training for emerging markets. By this, I mean not just IT skills, but management skills. The growth opportunities in these markets are enormous. But if there is one inhibitor that might keep us from realizing them, it is a shortage of talent at all levels. As a global association, the SRII can and should work to create or accelerate IT services skills development. In most emerging markets, the academic institutions produce some excellent programming and IT skills, which are really applicable to the hardware and the software businesses. But what is lacking is, in most of them, is any IT services science curriculum. This is both new and countercultural to the IT academics, and it is exactly where you can make a difference. There is no limit to what we as IT professionals can do to help emerging markets growth. Of the 7 billion people in the world, IT serves perhaps 1 billion. If we work together, we can expand the opportunities for all of us to reach the other 6 billion. I believe your mission is important, and I trust you will pursue it with conviction. Thank you very much.